Walt Disney World is turning back into a swamp, at least in parts of the Magic Kingdom. Today we'll tell you why that's a bad thing if you're ready to ride cartoon racers right next to the Haunted Mansion and Big Thunder. Could it be a blunder for the happiest, most magical place on Earth? Well, let's just say they're not yet moving dirt. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the, That Park Place, the happiest YouTube channel that ever set sail across the fruited plains of the US of A. Joining us today, Jonas J. Campbell, Vashkai, and myself. I am a guest, a visitor, and I'm happy to be here with my friends. Amigos, are you ready to go to the Magic Kingdom where the swamp is returning?
That's right. You're not a cast member. You've been promoted to guest.
Jonas, I'm ready to drain the swamp. What about you?
Yes, I would prefer it not be a swamp at all, but
drain the
here
swamp.
We are.
Drain the swamp. Wait a minute, different kind of swamp. Oh, that's not what that slogan means. I thought, I see.
Yeah, let's go over here to Disney Tourist Blog. In an article by Tom Bricker, nature reclaims rivers of America as Disney World drains waterway for demolition. It skipped the first picture for some reason on my browser, but here we go. Almost 3 months after closing, nature is starting to reclaim the rivers of America. Crews try to drain the remaining water, construction walls are up, and there's a flurry of worker activity in Magic Kingdom. There are a few notable changes, rather, worth sharing as Imagineering gears up to start on Piston Peak and Villains Land, and we're going to cover those here.
Hang on, Jonas. I got to get in right there.
Please do.
Scroll back up for that paragraph so people can see it, please, just for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we came on to That Park Place weeks ago, and we told you that they were running behind. We told you that they were delayified. We told you that Epic Universe might actually get their expansions out before this thing ever gets going. Listen, folks, look at what they're saying about this. Nature is moving faster than the Imagineers of Disney. Nature itself, kudzu, moves more quickly than Disney. This is crazy to me. Listen, the issue here is it has been 3 months and they have not drained the water yet. I know the water's down, but it's still there. Stagnant, yucky, mosquito-filled water, the muck and the yuck, the swamp, and nature is taking over the rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island faster than Disney can get going on this thing. So I think this is a confirmed now. This is a slow-mo project.
I would totally agree. And of course, we've got Vash's footage as well as the pictures here from Disney Tourist Blog. It looks nasty out there, and all you see is the mud and the track, which to go from that beautiful sight of the riverboat, especially at night when it was just lit up and everything was reflecting off of the water and you had the cool breeze coming off of the rivers of America. It was a beautiful sight, and now it is a construction site.
Jonas, do a comparison.
Site.
Jonas, do a comparison. The roller coaster over at Universal that they're taking apart, right?
Oh,
the rocket.
Yes, the Rip Ride rocket is already it's already down, right? The treble clef is down.
Yes. They took it down in days. Disney hasn't even started yet on this thing. All they've done is go over and inventory the items for historical purposes and get some water out. That's it. They haven't torn up, as far as we can tell, they haven't torn up electrical lines, plumbing lines, the structures, because the caves are actually a structure. They're not real caves, ladies and gentlemen. They haven't done any of that. They haven't cut down the trees. All the beautiful, wonderful trees. I am not looking forward to them doing that, but they're going to. They haven't done any of it.
Right.
And it's been 3 months.
And to be clear, some of that, obviously, the stuff that has to be dry in order to be removed, we're not necessarily talking about that, although that's pretty ugly as a barrier between what's wet and what's dry. Tom Sawyer Island there's no water inside Tom Sawyer Island they have to deal with. They could have already, Fort Langhorne that's in there? They could have already started deconstructing that. This is something that Disney moves at its own pace, which is to say they would rather have the idea of motion, the idea that something's coming, because there's anticipation. There's some kind of buildup that they can say that they have here. There was actually a piece of information for Disney investors that went out that talked about all the things that have happened at the parks since 2016. It's the kind of propaganda that they would put up if they were trying to cope with maybe some other large theme park expansions that are happening out there that are soaking up all of Disney's press right now.
Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember when the Tron canopy? They actually had to come pressure wash it before it opened because it had been sitting there for so long that it was now a dingy, dated structure because it had been sitting there for years. Because that's how slowly they went. And everybody thought, oh, they've turbocharged it, so we're really going to get some fast stuff out here in the Magic Kingdom. They're going to really take it to Epic Universe. And it's like the algae is growing faster than the Imagineers are getting to the island. Vash, it's crazy.
It's absolutely insane. And what have we seen from the Walt Disney Company? We've seen that capital expenditures, well, the company might commit to those. They'll stretch them out over multiple quarters in order to keep that CapEx down per quarter in order so that it doesn't eat into your revenues, right? Because they work on operating income. They want to show the maximum amount of operating income possible. So how do we do that? Well, we go ahead and maybe we allocate $250 million this quarter towards capital expenditures. And when that money runs out, which inevitably does happen, weeks after they start, then it stops. Then they dole out a little bit more in the quarter, and then it stops. It's absolutely frustrating, but that's why you had something like Tron take 6 years to make. Partially. But can't we expect that this project right here be any faster? I think so, but not by much.
I mean, maybe 2029, maybe the first part of it opens. Villain's Land? Come on. I mean, guys, I don't see any indication whatsoever that Villain's Land is done before the early 2030s.
I'm also on the same page there. I think there's also some things they haven't announced yet with Villain's Land that they're working on here. They're with Epcot and the Walcott debacle, and they had all of these plans that they put out. Maybe they've grown and they aren't putting out all of those plans publicly. You think about the things that had to happen inside of Epcot. All they were doing was filling in things. There may have been there was probably some water work that was done with the Journey into My Water, or whatever the name of the Moana attraction is. Journey of Water inspired by Moana. It occurred to me at the end. They had to get rid of the Fountains of Nations and replace it with this. With that, and also basically a community college cafeteria. When we're talking about this, they're literally terraforming. Here.
How dare you? How dare you be denigrating towards Epcot's quad, Jonas? How dare you?
I almost expect to see a couple of kids in hoodies and having their frisbees and bringing a guitar into the Beyonce stage, as they call it internally. So when I look at this, they're actually going to have to fill this in before they can do anything. I don't know if they're going to be building utilidors under this. This doesn't seem like the kind of thing that current.
They got to bring in bulldozers though to break up all this concrete. They can't just cover up that concrete with other stuff. All of it's got to be broken up, and they've got to get the rest of this stagnant, nasty water out of there.
And then they can start building. But this is a company that also builds incredibly slowly. Vash, what were you saying?
Well, they also conceptualize very slowly as well, depending on what project that it is. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because of this. The company recently just put out this kind of infograph highlighting their investments that they will be making in their theme park division. Specifically, it looks like everything here on this list anyway is Walt Disney World. But you can see right here on the horizon, we've seen multiple conceptual pieces done for this kind of Piston Peak project here, this Cars Land project replacing this Rivers of America portion right here. We've seen multiple pieces of artwork for Tropical Americas, multiple for Monsters Inc. But for Villains Land, the very highly sought after Villains Land by fans, you can see right here, we only have one piece of concept artwork, and they haven't even really labeled this area or named this area yet. It's just Villains Land. Versus you get Piston Peak up here for Cars Land. That will be done, I'm sure, far quicker than Villains Land will. At this point, they might be still in the pre-Blue Sky or the Blue Sky phase of this project, which doesn't bode well for people waiting for this Villains-inspired land to open.
Right. Well, obviously, they're not going to have 100-mile radius and purple skies, which is what's taking up most of this concept art here. Somewhere in there is a roller coaster track. This is a tone poem about what they want this land to kind of look like. This one is not concept art nearly as much as it's just it's a vague idea. Sometime down the road we'll get to where we'll have that Monsters Inc. land at Disney's Hollywood Studios level of detail, which, by the way, I'm convinced the only reason that level of detail exists is because they were able to look at the actual buildings that were there and then just say, oh, we'll put an eye on that one.
That's right.
Right. That's a good point.
And then, of course, that the Monsters, Inc. actual building, well, we'll just stick that in the back.
Right.
Right.
That's and that's where we are right now. Disney is going to move quickly with Hollywood Studios when it comes to the animation courtyard. That's going to be because Hollywood Studios has had one of the most precipitous drops in attendance of any theme park in the world, and they have to fix that fast, right? And by the way, that I think in large part comes from the fact that people might not be excited anymore about Star Wars, so that could be hurting them. So you've got that situation, so they've got to fix that as quickly as they can. But when it comes to Magic Kingdom, they're in no hurry, and when it comes to Animal Kingdom, honestly, I don't sense they're in a hurry there. So all this turbocharging that they talked about, I think we'll really get into that late 2028, 2029, and really the 2030s. And that's, well, by the time we get there, Epic Universe might have their expansions going already too.
I can't wait to see it, by the way. With that being said, we want to throw this to our commenters. When do you think Rivers of America is going, well, when do you think Piston Peak is going to replace Rivers of America? We're talking opening days here, not media events, but actually open to the paying guests, not the shills. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Extra points if you also guess Villain's Land. Bookmark this video. Keep coming back to see how everybody's doing there. Hit the like button if you haven't done that yet. It really does help out the channel. And if you haven't done it yet, consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.